Hello everyone, and welcome back to our video tutorial series for Kingdom Hearts 1. In this video, we cover the final fight against Ansem Seeker of Darkness and the massive entity known as World of Chaos. This fight has 8 separate phases that will test your abilities in the air and on the ground. But before we dive in, let's review how we can best prepare for the game's final challenge. If you haven't done so already, travel to the Hollow Bastion library and speak with Era 3 times to receive Curaga magic. This will let you recover the greatest amount of HP every time you cast Cure. Once you've entered through the door in Final Rest, there's no going back, so be sure to save here before proceeding into the endgame. Your last opportunity to open the main menu is after you defeat Ansem and his guardian on the shore of the Destroy Destiny Islands. It's recommended to have the party be at least level 50 for this fight, though you may find it more manageable at level 55 or 60. In general, the higher your level, the better off you'll be in the endgame. If you need a place to level up before the final fights, it's a good idea to enter the Hades Cup with the entire party at the Olympus Coliseum. Clearing all 50 seeds of this tournament will give you lots of experience and upgrades to your Blizzard, Thunder, and Gravity spells. Upgraded Arrow Magic will give you a major advantage during this fight. You acquire Arrow Magic by defeating the opposite armor in Traverse Town, and you can earn spell upgrades by finding all 99 Dalmatian puppies and unsealing the Yellow Trinity in Neverland. Click the links in our video description or here in the video to see our guide for more info. Equip a long keychain that primarily boosts your strength, and preferably one that also boosts your MP. The best option is Ultima Weapon, which you can acquire through item synthesis. Click the link in our video description or here in the video to see our guide on how to find the materials needed to craft it. If Ultima Weapon isn't an option, you can equip Oathkeeper for a decent strength and magic boost, or Oblivion for an even greater strength boost at the expense of your MP. Divine Rose deals great damage too, but it's pretty short, making it difficult to land hits when flying near Ansem. You can acquire Divine Rose by talking to Belle on the 2nd floor of the Hollow Bastion library. Many of Ansem's attacks during these fights have a dark attribute, so equip accessories that boost your resistance to darkness, like the Raven's Claw or Inferno Band. You can also purchase Chaos Rings from the Traverse Town accessory shop. And if additional slots are available, consider equipping ribbons to your party members. These will increase your resistance to other elemental attacks you'll encounter during these fights. They can be synthesized in the Moogle's workshop. For Sora's abilities, equip Guard, Dodge Roll, MP Haste, MP Rage, Second Chance, and Leaf Bracer if you have them. Other abilities that are great to have equipped to Sora for these fights are Critical Plus, Hurricane Blast, Aerial Sweep, Combo Master, Lucky Strike, Jackpot, and Treasure Magnet. The phases where you fight Ansem directly are flying segments, so these abilities won't be available for use. You can unequip them to free up your AP for other abilities. Be sure to equip Goofy's MP Gift ability. He can use it to expend 2 of his MP and restore 3 MP for another party member. I prefer to unequip Goofy's combat ability so that he can only use his MP to restore MP for others. If available, equip Goofy's Second Chance, Second Wind, MP Haste, MP Rage, and Cheer ability as well. Equip the same abilities to Donald as you did Goofy, and equip Leaf Bracer too. Enter the Customize menu and add Gravity, Arrow, and Cure Magic to your shortcuts. And finally, enter the Items menu and equip as many Elixirs and Mega Elixirs as you can to Sora. You should also equip your other party members with curative items too. I like to equip Mega Potions to Donald and Mega Ethers to Goofy, but you're welcome to equip Elixirs or Mega Elixirs if you have them. After making these menu changes, use a cottage to fully restore the party's HP and MP, then head toward the center of the island. You'll first need to defeat Ansem and his guardian with Sora alone. Check out our video tutorial for that fight if you need it. This will be a long, in-depth analysis of each phase, so feel free to jump around using the video chapters to find the info that you're looking for. The first phase is a solo match between Sora and Ansem. Before flying into combat, cast Arrow Magic to increase Sora's defense, and do your best to recast it whenever the barrier fades going forward. Ansem has a set attack pattern that includes a horizontal spinning strike, a 4-part multi-directional slash attack, and 2 different sets of tracking lasers. The full Phase 1 attack pattern looks like this, but we're going to walk through each part and explain where you can strike Ansem without taking damage yourself. Ansem's Phase 1 attack pattern always begins with a horizontal spinning strike, followed by a 4-part multi-directional slash. His next 2 attacks will be either of these, but they're randomly selected. Your window to strike is pretty small, but you can typically land 2 or 3 hits in between his attacks if you can stay close. The best spot I've found is behind Ansem near the Guardian's right pauldron. This position will keep you safe from both of Ansem's blade strikes, and you can fly towards Ansem to deal a few hits after he finishes each attack, then fly back to the pauldron to wait out the next one. If you decide to use this position to strike from, there are a few things to keep in mind. If you find yourself close to Ansem as he starts to use his horizontal spinning strike, you can use the attack button to deflect it and avoid damage as long as you get the timing right. The same method applies if you end up being too close during the start of his multi-directional slash. When you close in to strike after his horizontal slash, don't fly in too early. The last part of his attack animation as he swings back into his starting position will damage you. After his 4 blade attacks, Ansem will summon his first set of lasers. He'll sometimes indicate when he's about to send these out when he says,
"Welcome the darkness into your heart."
The lasers will appear in 2 separate bursts about 3 seconds apart. You can fly in a wide circle to avoid these, but I prefer to fly directly upward to avoid the first set and then fly straight down to dodge the second set. If done correctly, this should put you back behind Ansem, allowing you to strike during his openings without having to fly far away. After his first set of lasers, Ansem will again use his horizontal spinning strike, immediately followed by his 4-part multi-directional slash. You can land hits in between and after these attacks if you're quick. And finally, he'll send out his second set of lasers. Ansem will sometimes alert you by saying,
"All shall be extinguished."
This is a larger barrage consisting of 5 lasers in quick succession, followed by a final delayed laser. We'll be using 2 different methods to dodge this laser sequence. I always use this first evasion method during Ansem's very first attack loop and after every 3 attack loops going forward. We'll explain why in a minute. Remain locked onto Ansem and fly down and away in a wide arc to avoid the first 5 lasers. After the 5th laser, start flying up and to your right to avoid the last one, then return to Ansem. Think of your flight path as a teardrop shape, descending in the first half and ascending in the latter half. If you spaced it correctly, the 3 bit snipers that Ansem summoned should quickly despawn before you reach Ansem again. These bit snipers are always summoned at the end of his first attack loop and at the end of every 3 loops thereafter. They love to dash into you and interrupt your combos on Ansem, but having a Roga magic active will stagger them before they can reach you. You can defeat them with magic or air combos to earn HP orbs, or you can just fly far enough away to have them despawn. The second method to avoid this laser barrage is to fly directly upward for the first 3 lasers, then fly to the side of it and head straight down for the remaining lasers. If done correctly, this should put you near where you started, allowing you to strike in those small windows between Ansem's blade attacks at the start of his next attack loop. One thing you'll need to keep in mind is that on your way down, steer clear of the force field surrounding Ansem. This will have a short detonation that can damage you if you're too close at the end of his loop. Here's the full attack loop sped up for demonstration. Ansem will continue to use this attack pattern until a little over 2 health bars remain. There's also a short period of time between his 2 attack phases where you can deal a few combos without risk of taking damage. The start of Ansem's second attack pattern is usually indicated by him saying,
"Still confused? Then perhaps this will enlighten you."
The laser patterns are much more frequent in this half of the fight, making the windows to strike Ansem without taking damage very narrow. The footage you see here illustrates how you can maneuver around all of the laser patterns and still strike Ansem. The key to this method is to make sure your flight path will position Sora near Ansem at the end of each laser pattern. We won't dive into the minute details of each flight pattern, but here are some tips to keep in mind when dodging lasers. Flying to the left or right will usually keep you safe, but don't backtrack in the opposite direction without changing your vertical position. Flying straight forward or forward on an incline will most likely get you hit, but flying down in any direction is typically a safe maneuver. The most reliable flight pattern I've found is to alternate flying directly up and down, and for the longer laser patterns you can fly up, move slightly to the side, and head directly back down. If you have high defense and the MP to spare, you can try staying close to Ansem and dealing combos relentlessly. The lasers will interrupt your combos and damage you, so be sure to keep your arrow magic active and cast Cure if your HP dips near critical levels. Use an elixir if you find yourself low on MP. If you're playing on the Proud Mode difficulty, you can use the damage storage exploit to cut down Ansem's HP. This method requires that you equip the EXP0 ability to Sora before heading into the final fights. To activate damage storage, land a combo finisher on Ansem, then fly a safe distance away and cast fire magic repeatedly. If done correctly, each cast should deal decent damage. Keep in mind that Sora will get pushed back gradually with each cast. You'll need to fly in a little bit over time so that your fire magic continues to make contact. And make sure you don't use the attack button. Doing so will cancel damage storage until you land another combo finisher. When you clear the first phase, Ansem will retreat into a recovery state, and Sora will automatically move into the first portal of darkness. This room is full of Shadow Heartless, but don't take them lightly. They have higher defense than usual, and having a large number of them attack from all around you can be challenging. These particular shadows have a chance of dropping Mega Potions too. A couple of well-timed gravity spells while locked on can cut the HP of most of them as they approach you. And Blizaga's widespread can deal decent damage to many as long as you put enough distance between Sora and the group. If you choose to fight them close up, be sure to move after your combo finishers so that any shadows attacking from behind or the sides are avoided. When all of the shadows are defeated, a floating core will appear in the center of the room. Strike it until its HP is depleted, and keep striking it to slightly fill your MP gauge. In Phase 3, you'll have to defeat the large and small artillery before the next portal becomes active. These enemies shoot projectiles that track your position, but they have a limited range. If you have Tier 3 Aroga magic active, the smaller blue projectiles will be automatically sent back to the nearest or locked-on target. The large artillery send out bigger red projectiles. These can't be deflected by Aroga magic, but you can nullify damage by striking them at the right time. They also toss large fiery orbs that explode on contact, but Aroga magic will protect you from these. I prefer to destroy the large artillery first by casting gravity magic while locked on and following up with air combos. The spot directly in front of the first large artillery is safe to cast from for the most part. These large artillery have a chance to drop Mega Ethers and Elixirs when defeated. If you stick around near the Guardian too long, it will periodically push Sora back and send out a single laser. Sora may take damage from the pushback if the Guardian's arms make contact, but you can fly away from it ahead of time to avoid taking damage. Striking the smaller artillery with physical attacks can be a little tricky because of their positioning. You may end up hitting the ship's structure instead, so try changing your vertical position if that happens. The smaller artillery are also susceptible to gravity, and casting it on the middle one in a group will sometimes hit the others nearby. Once you've cut their HP down, a few more hits should take them out. Before flying into the next portal, use an item if you need to restore your HP or MP. Keep in mind that if you hang around long enough, the Guardian will use its pushback attack and send out a single laser. The next portal leads to a room with Darkballs. Goofy rejoins your party here so he can help restore your magic using MP Gift. These Darkball Heartless are special in that they drop MP orbs when defeated, and they have a chance at dropping Mega Ethers too, so don't be shy about your magic use. A couple of well-timed gravity spells while they're grouped together will severely cut their HP, and following up with an air combo should help clear them out quickly. Aroga magic can help you reduce the damage you take, and it can stagger Darkballs that try to charge at you. Without Aero Magic active, you'll need to dodge roll frequently to avoid damage as they move around. When the room core appears, use an item to restore HP and MP if needed, then strike the core relentlessly to fill up your MP gauge a bit more. Phase 5 pits Sora and Goofy against the large face on the front of the ship. Cast Aero Magic on Sora and Goofy to boost their defense, then fly towards the face and strike it. The face periodically attacks with a group of thunderbolts all around it, and you'll know when it's about to strike when you see its eyes close, so use that as an indication to fly away. There's also a single bolt that will track Sora's position and strike periodically, making it difficult to land full combos on the face without getting hit. You'll see a glow above Sora before the bolt appears. I recommend striking the face twice, then changing position so that the bolt strikes where you were previously. You'll need to find the right timing to pull this off. This single bolt will only track you within a certain distance from the face, so if you need to heal up, fly outside of the strike zone to do so safely. While you're attacking the face, keep an eye on Goofy's HP, and cast Arrow or Cure Magic for him as needed. Keeping Goofy active will help ensure he provides support through his MP gift ability. Groups of small artillery will appear in 3 different areas if you get too close to them. Their projectiles only reach so far, and flying far enough away will cause them to despawn. The group of artillery that pose the greatest threat will spawn on the platform just under the face. As mentioned before, Tier 3 Aroga magic will automatically deflect their projectiles toward your locked-on target. You can use this technique to send them at the face for damage, but keep in mind that this will put you in range with a single tracking thunderbolt, so you'll need to move from side to side to avoid damage. If the small artillery are giving you too much trouble, cast arrow magic on Sora and strike them with combos. They'll drop lots of HP orbs and mega potions if you're lucky. A well-positioned gravity spell can knock down most of their HP quickly. When half of the yellow HP bar remains, the face will change its attack pattern and start to use a large explosion attack. Your indication that this attack is incoming is when it rears back. Keep an eye out for that movement and fly away a bit to avoid damage. Keep your arrow magic active, deal 2 hits at a time, and move from side to side to avoid the tracking thunderbolt. After its HP is fully depleted, the face will open its mouth to reveal the next portal of darkness. You can fight the remaining artillery for HP orbs and a chance at mega potions if you want to. Make sure you're healed up and have lots of MP before flying into the portal. This last portal leads to a room filled with invisibles, one of the most aggressive and heavy-hitting Heartless you'll encounter. Donald rejoins the party in this room, which means that summons are now available. You can summon Tinkerbell here to cast regen on the entire party and receive a one-time save from KO. Invisibles have a lot of HP, and they tend to charge at you immediately. If you cast 1 or 2 gravity spells directly in front of you without locking on, you'll likely catch a large number of them grouped together and drastically cut down their HP. Keep in mind that jumping before you use gravity will allow you to cast more quickly. Arrow magic helps immensely in boosting your defense, and Tier 3 Aroga magic will often stagger nearby enemies. Invisibles can be staggered with air combos in between their attacks, and you can keep them staggered this way as long as you strike them quickly. Whenever they flip their sword and strike it into the ground, a dark ring will surround Sora or another party member. After a few seconds, this ring will collapse inwards and damage its target, but you can avoid this by dodge rolling or jumping just as the ring starts closing in. When the ring disappears, close in on that invisible and get ready to strike with an air combo or gravity. These invisibles drop large HP and MP orbs when defeated, and they can also drop elixirs with a little luck. Before you strike the room core, this is a good opportunity to use items to heal up if needed. If you have at least 1 MP available, you can summon Bambi and pick up the MP orbs to restore more of your magic. Bambi will drop additional orbs each time Sora makes contact with him. When you're ready to press on, strike the room core until its HP is depleted. Your primary target in Phase 7 is the main core, located near the center of the ship and guarded by several groups of small artillery. Cast arrow magic on Sora to boost his defense. If you have Tier 3 Aroga magic, its barrier will auto-deflect every blue projectile without taking damage. If you want a chance at more mega potions, you can defeat the smaller artillery scattered around this level of the ship. The main core doesn't have any attacks of its own, just a long HP bar that you can cut through quickly with gravity magic. Keep striking the core after it's destroyed to gain back a bit more of your MP. With the trio assembled again, Ansem returns for the 8th and final phase with 2 new attacks: an MP absorption technique used by the Guardian, and Ansem's strongest attack called the Great Darkness. Ansem summons the Great Darkness near the beginning of his attack loop, creating a black hole far in front of him that pulls in Sora and the other party members. You'll need to fly towards Ansem in order to prevent being pulled in. If Sora is pulled too close to the source, you'll take damage periodically and once more when it detonates. This attack also emits small projectiles that track all party members. You can alternate flying up and down or side to side to avoid these, but make sure you hold either flight button in order to push against the gravity pull. You can also protect yourself from this attack entirely by flying behind the Guardian and landing at its base where it connects to the ship. This position keeps you completely safe and allows you to heal your party members as needed. When Ansem detonates the attack, you can fly back in to deal damage. After the Great Darkness detonates, there are several seconds where you can deal a few combos to Ansem. Then the Guardian's mouth and pauldrons will begin to glow. These glowing areas will periodically sap the party's MP one bar at a time until they're destroyed or when Ansem summons his next set of lasers. You can strike these spots with the Keyblade, but be aware that staying near one of these spots for too long will stagger you. If you have Tier 3 Aroga magic, I recommend casting it on Sora and simply flying near the spots to dispel them. The sooner you take these out, the more MP you'll save. While you're dispelling these MP draining orbs, Ansem will use his horizontal slash, followed by his 4-part multi-directional slash twice in a row. There are brief moments where you can land hits in between each of these attacks. There are also 2 laser sequences that appear in this phase, a set of 5 at the start of the loop where the 5th laser is delayed, and a set of 3 lasers at the end of the loop when Ansem briefly emits a barrier around him. Both of these laser sequences can be avoided using the flight tips we covered during Phase 1. Here's the full attack loop sped up for demonstration. Your best opportunities to deal damage without risk are before Ansem sends out the Great Darkness and after it detonates. Don't be shy about using your items during this final phase, it'll be the last time you'll need any. If the party is losing HP quickly, you can land somewhere on the ship and summon Tinkerbell. She'll cast regen on the entire party and you'll receive a one-time save from KO. If you're playing on the Proud Mode difficulty, you can use the Damage Storage exploit in Mushu to cut down Ansem's HP incredibly fast. This method requires that you equip the EXP0 ability to Sora before heading into the final fights. To activate Damage Storage, land a combo finisher on Ansem, then land somewhere on the ship as quickly as possible to summon Mushu. Both of your party members must be active to summon. Cast Cure on them if they're KO'd. With Mushu summoned, lock on to Ansem and use the Fire Breath command. If done correctly, you should see Ansem's HP drop quickly. And make sure that you don't use the attack button. Doing so will cancel damage storage until you land another combo finisher. That was a lot of info, so let's wrap up with the key takeaways. For Phase 1, cast Arrow Magic to boost your defense, and recast it whenever it dissipates. Position Sora near the Guardian's right pauldron to stay safe from Ansem's blade strikes, and remain close enough to attack during his small openings. Use the flight patterns we described to avoid the 2 laser sequences, and fly far away to despawn the bit snipers when needed. For the Portals of Darkness in Phase 2, 4, and 6, cast Gravity Magic while enemies are grouped together to cut their HP down quickly. Use Arrow Magic to boost defense and potentially stagger nearby enemies, and continue striking the room cores when they appear to gain back a bit more of your MP. For Phase 3, use Gravity Magic to pull lots of HP from the large and small artillery. Cast Tier 3 Aroga Magic to auto-deflect the blue projectiles, and keep your distance from the Guardian's knockback attack. For Phase 5, use Aroga Magic to boost Sora and Goofy's defense. Continually change your position to avoid the tracking Thunderbolt as you strike the face. Fly out of range in order to cast Cure or use items, and watch for the face to close its eyes or rear back. Fly away at those times to avoid damage from its attacks. And for the final phase, cast Arrow on party members to boost their defense. Land behind the Guardian where it connects to the ship to avoid Ansem's Great Darkness attack. Use Arrow Magic or air combos to quickly destroy the MP sapping orbs, and don't be afraid to use your remaining items to restore HP and MP in a pinch. With these tips and tricks, you'll put the world of chaos into good order and be on the other side of the credits in no time. And congratulations on completing Kingdom Hearts. I hope you enjoyed your playthrough. And that's the end of this tutorial. If you have any advice or tips of your own, share them with us in the comments section. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more content. And as always, you can find the best online walkthrough and guides to the Kingdom Hearts series at KHGuides.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.